Hello and welcome back. This is part one of a three-part review where we're going to be looking at the Paleface series. We're going to start off with chapter 3 and work our way back to chapter 1. So, a little bit of background for those of you who don't know about Paleface. They are a band from Zurich in Switzerland and they formed around 2017. The band is classified as beatdown, but there is definitely deathcore and slam influences and inspirations throughout. But the band have specifically said in their songs they are Swiss beatdown. In their active time, they have released chapter 1 from the Gallows in 2018, the Deprivation Method single from in 2018, which I believe was part of chapter 2 Witch King in 2019, No Mercy at All, which came out in 2019, which was a single off of chapter 3, The Last Selection from 2020, which is what we're going to start off with here. So, the band also have a new album coming out soon called Fear and Dagger, which I may take a look at. I don't know if I'll review it. We'll see how I go. I do have a lot to get through with reviews, which also features the single Death Touch and I believe Dead Man's Diary. So, without further hesitation, without further delay, here is The Last Selection, which runs for only 35 minutes and 13 seconds. Track 1, Inevitable, 3 minutes 8. So this opens with an air raid siren and is followed up by what I would call a skit, where you can hear a man talking and begging to a woman over sounds of screaming, fires crackling, people being beaten, demonic voices of what we later on, or we should know, to be the Palefaces, which are an alien race of human hunters that like to kill and eat humans. And the song starts at around the 1 minute 9 mark of the 3 minute 8 track. But when the song actually starts, the first thing you hear is them say, "This is Paleface, motherfuckers, back at it with the final chapter." Which obviously makes sense since this was the final part of the trilogy. And I couldn't honestly work out what was said after that, and nor could I find the lyrics online because I use the Genius app for a lot of my lyrics, because they pretty much have everyone and everything. But with this chapter 3 album, they only had selected songs, but chapter 2, their older stuff, had pretty much every song, I believe, but they didn't have chapter 1. But I digress. The chugging guitars over the slow methodical drums really builds a good sound for the band in this opening track. And as for vocals, there's some solid pig squeals in one part, and it sounds like someone is genuinely getting the shit kicked out of them as the lead singer, lets out these really deep grunts before erupting into a scream followed by psychotic laughter. Which then fades into some weird sci-fi, extraterrestrial, fucking... But yeah, these sounds kind of remind me of when someone's about to get abducted in a film, by aliens. It's kind of weird. And these sounds bleed into track 2, No Mercy, featuring Hood Brawl. Which picks up, like I said, right where song 1 leaves off with the odd noises, and then this demonic voice comes back and opens this one with a bellow of No Mercy before the track carries on. The drums have a much quicker pacing in this one, and the guitars too have a very different style to song 1. And the Fry style vocal leading back into that psychotic signature laughter before the vocals. There's some good varied styles of delivery of the vocals in this song throughout the entire track, and I also really like the feature of Brawl here as well, because they kind of come in towards the end of the song, and they totally tipped this track to be one of my favourites so far in the early tracks. But as you'll see, this band definitely comes into their own the longer the album goes. Moving on from this, we have track 3, Lights Out, which was 3 minutes 12. Again, this track has what seems like a signature laugh before the lyrics kick in on this one. And again, this track sounds sonically different from the first two. And lines like, displace the bodies with the fire of the Witch King, show me my lust when I see their heads swing, which is a direct callback to the title of their second album, Chapter 2, The Witch King. Another line of note for me was, life is worth nothing, there's something you don't know. On the brink now, soon it's lights out. Back up the bitch, back up the snitch. We're on the brink now, soon it's lights out. And also, what you gonna fucking do when the human hunters come for you? Overall, this is just a solid beatdown track. Something to just kind of jump around in your room to, like mosh in your room on your own, fucking just blare it out, you know. Moving on, we have track 4, Scalpel, 4 minutes 22. So this one starts with some swelling guitars until the vocals kick in quickly and demand your full attention. I really liked how the vocalist changes his delivery consistently to keep each song sounding fresh yet similar at the same time. I also liked how the line, have you ever thought about the things you've done to let it come this far into the end of it all? It doesn't really, you know, they don't really take me for a band that normally would ask questions like that, but it's just such a unique line to the rest of the stuff that I was hearing that just kind of made me go, that's kind of interesting. Also, another line of note in this track was, the smell of dead humans arouses me. The only thing I ever wanted is all your naked bodies laying next to me. It's my only fucking fantasy. Yeah. Track 5, Go to Sleep, 3 minutes 34. Again, another one that I struggled to find lyrics for here, but the track is so well paced and fleshed out that I wasn't bothered by the fact that I couldn't find the lyrics for this song. I just enjoyed listening to it as a song. And there are bits you can catch, like, go to sleep, go the fuck to sleep, you motherfucker. Before a really cool, almost rap style verse, vocal verse, which was unique. Don't remember there being anything else like that on the album. The track also had an enjoyable show of guitarmanship too from the guys in the band, and you know, solid track. Moving on, we have track 6, which is the first of 3 little skit interlude segments, which runs for only about 38 seconds. You know, it's a short interlude here, which is just creepy, atmospheric sounds, and there's like an odd bit where the final seconds the guitar comes in, which I believe leads on to track 7, The Rats, featuring Clench Your Fist, which runs for 2 minutes 52 seconds. The track is another rather fast-paced track, and is all but over before it starts, sadly, because of how short it is. It's a great addition to the album either way, and on top of it all, it introduced me to Clench Your Fist, who I've not heard before, and I did enjoy their feature. Again, another very well placed one, and it fit nicely in the song towards the end of its runtime, which allowed for both artists to showcase what they can do. Moving on, we have track 8, which is number 2 of the 3 interludes. This one here runs for 41 seconds, a little longer this time. And you can hear what has, I believe, a female's distorted cries, and then a musical toy being wound up to die off in a creepy horror film style way, which then leads on to track number 9, Curse Us, 4 minutes 42 seconds, and this is actually the longest track on the album here. And we're coming towards the home stretch now. This is the final 4. Again, like I say, it starts off with that same creepy music box from part 2, and the opening lines are, "You want to curse us, you little maggot. This is the last time you will see your fucking planet. You want to curse us, so come and see if you can reach up to everything you wanted to be." Which kind of shows that they're talking from the perspective, I feel, of the human hunters. Like, they're saying that the humans are trying to strike out against these entities that are higher than them, that are hunting them, that are the alpha prey sort of thing, and there's not really anything the human could do to get back at them, if that makes sense. And that opening line really just sets the tone for this track. I'm not sure why, but I like the band's usage of oofs in this as well. Song style seems to change so many times, and I really enjoyed that. It keeps it fresh, keeps it flowing, doesn't let it go stale. And lines like, "Your life is worth nothing anymore right now. Do you still think you are something better than me, you fuck? You've ruined everything for yourself, so don't think I am the reason for your death." Again, showing that mentality of this person has tried to take out one of the human hunters, and ultimately it's led to their demise. Like I said, it's such an enjoyable song. I felt it flowed very well. Also, I want to shout out to the sound effect of the gun chambering in the verse after that, which I noticed actually is also in chapter 2, and I think maybe in chapter 1 as well. But it's one of those things that the band keep harkening back to, which is almost like a signature in these, which I do like. Added an extra layer to that track, that's all. And again, lines like, "You will be cursed by us, you will be nobody. Curse us, take us, hunt us, skin us. Do what you want with our heads." It's a really cool set of lines before the track ramps up near the final. And I like how there was the vocalist doing the first half of the line, and then what sounded like another member of the band calling back the second half of the line. But yeah, this then ramps up to the finale, as I said, which is a beatdown breakdown, which opens up with, "Oh, you son of a bitch, you're fucked now." And it feels like a completely different track when we get into this towards the end, and it's just fucking sick. Like, they really do a solid job of showcasing their craft here. Moving on, we have track 10, Go for the Throat, 3 minutes 22. It's a hard song to follow up from, honestly, beforehand. And they're really done well with this one, putting it straight after Curse Us, because this one goes just as hard as that one, but, you know, just a little less, if that makes sense. but you got a sick breakdown tempo switch near the end, which again slaps, done really well. It's a solid, enjoyable track. Again, these last tracks, they really showcase the best of the best for these ones. Moving on, we have track 11, which is the third skit, 49 seconds, and it's like an emergency broadcast message, which reminds me of what they announce in The Purge, like where they say, all emergency services are off limit for the final selection sort of thing. And yeah, it's a nice little addition. Before track 12, Take Us, featuring Strangled, 3 minutes 59 seconds. Yet another solid track to close out the album here, with a fucking great feature. These two bands honestly worked really well together, and they complement each other's sound nicely to create one brutal bloody banger. There's not much more I can say about that. So, standout tracks for me: Curse Us, Take Us, Go to Sleep, Lights Out, easy 4. Album rating is a solid 9.5 out of 10, and seeing as this was my introduction to Paleface, I'm going to have to... This is what definitely made me decide to look at Chapter 2 and Chapter 1 and do videos on them. The only reason I didn't give this a 10 out of 10 was I felt like the little skits weren't needed and just kind of added filler. But other than that, the album was solid and I highly recommend checking it out. But with that being said, I will be leaving you here and moving on to Chapter 2.